Welcome back to Everyday Economics, the podcast that helps you learn about the economic world happening around you every day. I'm your host, Chris Krug, CEO of the 501c3 nonprofit, nonpartisan Franklin News Foundation. Everyday Economics is a production of America's Talking Network, and you can subscribe to all of our podcasts at americastalking.com to support Everyday Economics. Please make a tax-deductible charitable contribution by clicking the link in the show description. We're recording this episode on December 26, 2024. And joining me as always, Dr. O. Orphe Divounguy is a PhD economist. Dr. O, an article that sort of resurfaced came out from realtor.com, I think maybe in November, about the 10 most expensive places in the United States to raise children. And I don't know if this was surprising or not surprising. Massachusetts finished number 1, Hawaii finished number 2, Connecticut 3, New York 4, California 5, Colorado 6, Washington State 7, Oregon 8, New Jersey 9, and Rhode Island 10. When you take a look at those locales, those lovely states and commonwealths, one of the things that they have in common is extremely high median home prices. Massachusetts median home price is almost $770,000. Connecticut's Hawaii's is $798,000, almost $799,000. Why are kids so expensive, Dr. O? You've got a couple of kids. Tell me.
Look, I don't know if it's the kids.
It's not the kids.
I think the largest expenditure for most households is housing.
Sure.
And so when you look at that list, what you find out very quickly is that a lot of these markets are on the West Coasts, on the expensive West Coast and the expensive Northeast.
Yes.
Places that don't build a lot of housing, places where housing affordability has been stretched to the max.
They're all on the coast with the exception of Colorado, which has become and some would tell you it's become California light. It's become a coastal place in the Rocky Mountains.
In Denver, Colorado, a new home buyer, someone in the housing market today trying to buy a home with current prices and the typical home value and current mortgage rates, and just 20% down, right? Would have to spend 41% of their income on their housing costs.
It's bananas,
right? 41, almost half of their income on housing, right? And so this is it. I mean, in San Jose, California, the typical home buyer, right? So the typical household, a household with a median income, right? Putting down 20%, trying to live, would spend 75% of their income on housing. So no one, when at levels like that, no one qualifies for mortgage. It's very difficult to qualify for mortgage. Very difficult to buy a home, which is why in these coastal markets, the home ownership rate is very low.
Right.
When compared to other places across the country. So it's really a housing situation. It's a housing problem. Remember that 60%, according to Zillow data, 60% of buyers are married, right? Married households or partnered households, right? And basically they have kids. They have a kid, they have a pet. 44% of tenured homeowners, 44% have kids under 18 living at home with them, right? So you have a lot of people, married, and I know from, being married with kids, I know that the reality is, people are looking for housing near schools, right? These amenities are worth something. They show up in your home value, right? The closer you want to be to the school, the more expensive it gets.
Right.
And so parents want to be close to the schools. They also don't want to be renting necessarily because, renting means you don't have the stability. You may have to move, and you may have to, if your kids out of their current school, right? And so they end up buying, usually in the most expensive neighborhoods in their metro area, which is why it's so expensive, so difficult nowadays to raise a family, especially in those expensive coastal markets that just don't build enough housing to keep up with housing demand.
Yeah, short and sweet. I appreciate your thoughts as always. For Orphe Divounguy, this has been Chris Krug. Subscribe to Everyday Economics and dozens of other high quality podcasts at americastalking.com.